Here's an Elvis Duran in the Morning Show online exclusive.
Hi. Welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Does my shirt scare you?
No.
It's got little skulls on it.
No, I love skulls.
We were saying off the air that when I hear your name, the first thing I think of is perfect skin.
Oh, thank you.
You have no pores and perfect
Thank
eyebrows.
you. I actually have my own skincare line.
You do?
Oh, how
I do.
convenient.
Do tell.
It is convenient to this conversation, which I did not know was going to be
Bring it on.
talking about. I have a skincare line called Duran by Demi, and I love taking care of my skin. I'm very passionate about skincare, so sorry about that.
We have weird microphones.
If you can be passionate about current mic techniques.
Yes. Well, I'm not. So.
Okay. So back to your skin, your care line.
Yeah, so I love taking care of my skin, and I've always been passionate about it. And so a lot of times people will be like, oh my gosh, you have great skin. What do you do? And finally, I just was like, you know what? I'm going to create my dream products and just tell people this is, here it is. You want the secrets? Here it is.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Demi. May I call you Demi?
Yes.
What's your name? I mean, you're an incredible musician.
Thank you. Should I put these
What
on?
the hell do you know about putting chemicals together to make skin perfect? Obviously, you learn from someone. Do you go in the kitchen and just whip up some soap? What do you do?
So I actually, when I was younger, I had I'm going to not wear these. Is that fine?
You don't have to
Do I
wear
need
them.
wear them?
Take them
Okay,
off.
cool, because I actually can't hear in them. So
Oh,
feel...
it's a boring show anyway. Until now, I wouldn't listen to this show. I'm listening to Howard Stern right now.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm kidding. No, okay. When you're a little kid,
Yeah, so when I was a little kid, I went to the bookstore and I was looking for books to buy, and I saw this one that said that was at-home spa kind of stuff. So it had recipes like how to make facial masks from ingredients in your kitchen.
like what? What do you use in your kitchen to make a facial mask?
Well, there was one, not necessarily a mask, but there was one thing. It came with essential oils, so it taught me how to do a steam. So I heated up a bowl of water, and I put a towel over it, and I put my face in it, and I put a few drops of eucalyptus oil, and just that alone was I kind of loved the luxurious feeling of taking care of my skin.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah, I loved it. And so it was just little things like that. And then there's tons of masks you can make and scrubs and, just a bunch of different stuff.
All right. Well, our time with Demi Lovato's over. Thanks for coming back. No, but you hear about artists or celebrities, musicians, they come out with these other things like skin care or fragrances, and you're like, what do they know about it? But you actually know something about it, so we're good. All right, so perfect. Let's all buy some.
Yeah, I would buy hers because her face looks so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. You can't help
Duran
it.
by Demi.
Okay.
So I have to call you out on something.
What?
You were out in Vegas with some of the people we work with several weeks ago, and I
Yes.
saw a picture of you smoking a cigar
Oh, God.
with our friend Tom Pullman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people started tweeting at you guys saying, how dare you, old man, be a bad influence on Demi smoking cigars?
I'm by the way, if you realize, in comparison to what I used to do,
Cigars are
I
nothing.
had a fucking halo over my head.
Amen, sister. It's a cigar.
Yeah, I like cigars. I'll smoke cigars every now and then on special occasions or whatever, but no drinking, no drugs.
All right.
But I will say this because I like cigars as well. I just recently got into them, and there's something that makes you feel so sexy,
Right?
About holding
Especially
a
when
cigar.
you're a girl and you're holding it and people are looking at you like you're a boss. You're
Yeah.
I'm
It's
into
like
it.
it's like holding a penis. That's why.
It's like you're smoking a big brown penis.
not at all. But if that's where we're gonna go with it,
Why not?
why not?
Hope you,
Everyone loves a big brown.
everyone does. I mean, who in this room doesn't? Hello, you whores. You all know you do. Anyway, we got some music to get to in a minute. But let's go back to something you said before, talking about the stuff you've done in the past. I am sick and tired of hearing interviews where people want to continue to go down that lane.
Me too.
Which is several lives ago, where they've almost frozen Demi Lovato in this life of, dark days. Where can't we just get on with life and stop talking about it?
Yes, and I am 100% there, and I also understand that people like to talk about it because that's what I've been so open about, and I do a lot of mental health advocacy work, so it does get brought up into the conversation a lot, but at the same time, it's right now, in this new chapter of my life, I'm all about music.
Let's do that then.
And that's all I want to talk about.
All right. Fine. Cool for the summer, by the way. We're about to play it in a couple of seconds. If you're an artist, you're like, oh my God, it's getting hot outside. I need to put a song out with the word summer in the title. Surefire hit.
Yeah, but you have to think about that like in the winter, because by the time it's all ready, then it's summertime.
So we actually wrote that song a couple months ago, and it wasn't necessarily going to be my first single. So it wasn't like we wrote the song thinking, okay, we got to release it in the summer.
Right.
It'll be the first single. It actually was like, we kind of did the math and we were like, wait, okay, if I'm going to come out with my first single, and it's going to be in the summer, I should probably do Cool for the Summer.
There it is.
There we go.
It's also a favorite too. So I'm excited that this one gets to come out first.
And this is from an album that is coming out when? I mean, when's it's your
Later this year.
Your 5th album, studio album.
Yes.
Later this year.
Later this year.
How exciting! I mean,
Very exciting.
The other 4. Do you remember the anticipation, the ramp up to album release day?
Yes,
And-
it's never been this big. I will
What
say
makes
that.
this one different?
Well, of course, I was very, very excited on my first album. You know, the day that my first album released, that September 23rd, I will never forget it. And then with the other albums, it was also very exciting for me. But for the support that I've had with this album already, it's just kind of been game changing. And I've never worked with the producers that I've worked with, like Max Martin and Dr. Luke. These are people that I've always dreamt of working with. So I think this will be definitely a game changer for me. And I don't know, I just feel more confident in who I am and as an artist and a person. And I'm just ready to stop talking about the past and just focus on having fun in the future.
Excellent. I mean, shouldn't we all do that?
Yeah.
Can't we just put the past to bed and have some fun? I mean,
I feel like this is a sort of something, I don't know if it's something in the air or something this year or what's happening, but I feel like so many of my friends are feeling this now. Like, I'm going to start just being my true self. I'm going to embrace my life. We've had so many other artists we've talked to who are like, that's it. Now is the time that I'm going to absolutely be my true self and stop worrying about the past. And it's been this almost a mantra that's been running through. So I love hearing that you're doing it too, because I think it's this huge trend now. It's good for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a trend. I think that it's just something that I kind of like after being kind of put in a corner of talking about so many things from my past, it was just like, you know what? Like, I just want to talk about sexy time. And I want to talk about fun things.
Look, speaking of sexy time, you walked out on our stage at one of our Jingle Ball shows, and my husband and his best friend were sitting there, and it was like, oh my gosh, look at her. She is so smoking hot. And
God,
they
thank
talked
you.
about you the entire night and how hot you were. So I let
so
them.
funny.
It was okay.
Thank you.
But so you are hot.
Thank you. That's really funny.
you can't help it.
You can't help
It just
it.
happens. You're just hot.
Thank you.
You're born with that hot thing. Well, you know, it's great to have this, I guess the word confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence to me is hot. And
It's a good word.
if confidence can actually bleed through in the sound of your music, then you're done. You're in. People hear it. People have those BS detectors. They know if you're singing about something that you don't know about.
Right.
They don't hear anything that's believable in there. So this album, we'll start with the single we're about to play, but this album comes from a place of confidence, is what you're saying.
I think you can say that, yes. I think that it definitely stems from a place of confidence. Also, just growing up,
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't really, my last album, I didn't really grow up with it. You know, I was older and sober, and that's great. But now I'm like grown up and not afraid to talk about things. And I've had like kind of the struggle over the past like year or so with what do I want to do in the future, because I am a role model and I want to maintain that role model status to people, not to alienate any fan bases, but at the same time, I'm not a little angel, and I've never been. And so how do I show my audience and show the world that you can be a role model while being a badass? You know what I mean? And
No,
it's kind of, and
absolutely.
I think it's just about being honest and having confidence.
Confidence is where it's at. And look, we all have our battle wounds. We all do. And they're in different shapes and different sizes and different depths of injury, whatever. But, you know, that's what makes us who we are. And, you know, one day when you're in your 50s or 60s, you're going to look back and go, I'm so glad everything that's happened till today happened, because now I feel fantastic about who I am.
Did you just start a record label, my darling?
I did.
So you and Nick Jonas.
And my manager, Phil McIntyre.
How is that? You are an entrepreneur, so you are a businesswoman.
I do. I like being a little businesswoman with the skincare and the label, and there's a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it's a label called Safe House Records, and I wanted to do this with Nick and Phil because we had talked about it for several years now of developing our own artists, and also just providing a safe house for artists who feel like they really want to be with a label who cares about them and wants them to really have control over what they do with their music.
So how do you find these artists?
Well, right now we haven't signed anybody new. It's just me and Nick, and we're focusing on that for right now. And at some point, we're definitely. I mean, I'm already looking. He's already looking. But you know, when the right people come around, we'll make it happen.
There's so much talent slithering around out there that they never get noticed. There's so many talented people that just don't get on anyone's radar. These big music companies they're such big machines and they're just big businesses. I think sometimes they forget how to go out and just find talented people. Yeah. So maybe, that's what you do. Stop being this big record company and just go out and just have fun and hear some good artists.
I think that's what's important is just like allowing, artists to be themselves and having fun with their music and their artistry.
So, Demi, out of everything you're doing, if you could only pick just one.
Music.
Music, of course. Which is why you're here today. We've got to play. We're going to play Cool for the Summer. Talk about it. What's it all about?
Cool for the Summer. It's basically your go-to party anthem song.
All right.
It's definitely more grown up than my other singles that I've released. It's sexy, it's fun, and yeah.
All right. And the album is coming out when? We don't know when.
Later this year.
Later this year.
Yeah.
It could be tomorrow. It could be December.
You never know.
Any collaborations on the album that you can talk about?
Maybe.
Oh, well, hello. Talk about brushing that question off. Okay, I don't want to know. I want to be surprised.
Yeah, you want to be surprised.
I want to be surprised. Demi Lovato, it's always great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you.
And you know what? I feel confidence coming out of Demi Lovato. I feel it. Is that what I'm smelling?
Totally.
I'm smelling confidence.
Yes.
And it smells good.
And have fun at Iggy's wedding since you're going to be a bridesmaid for Iggy Azalea.
Thank you.
Love it.
You're a bridesmaid?
Yeah.
I wanted to be the flower girl and I was turned down. I'm like, that bitch. Anyway, Cool for the Summer. Demi Lovato right here.